Stressors, or the things that stress us out, fall into three main categories: catastrophes, significant life changes, and daily hassles. So catastrophes are large-scale disasters like earthquakes, floods, hurricanes, and wars. These stressors can significantly harm our emotional and physical health. Significant life changes include things like leaving home, having a loved one die, losing a job, or getting divorced. Even happy events like graduating or getting married can be stressful. Stress also comes from daily hassles. These are things like too many things to do in too little time, giving speeches at school, or dealing with interpersonal conflicts. When we're confronted with stressors, our sympathetic nervous system arouses us and prepares us to handle the stressor. Our sympathetic nervous system is meant to help us with immediate threats, like a poisonous snake, rather than with distant or looming threats, like the climate crisis. Our body adaptively responds to stress in three phases: alarm, resistance, and exhaustion. During the alarm phase, your sympathetic nervous system is suddenly activated. Your body prepares itself to fight the stressor it's encountering. During the resistance phase, your temperature, blood pressure, and respiration remains high. Your adrenal glands pump epinephrine and norepinephrine into your bloodstream. You are fully engaged, summoning all of your resources to meet the challenge. As time passes with no relief from the stress, your body's reserves begin to dwindle. During the exhaustion phase, you become more vulnerable to illness or even death. This process is known as general adaptation syndrome. The main takeaway from this process is that although our body can cope well with temporary stress, prolonged stress can damage it. Stressors are unavoidable, but we can learn to cope with the stress in our lives. We can cope with some of our stressors directly by using problem-focused coping. When we engage in problem-focused coping, we change the stressor or the way we interact with it. These include things like working on time management, asking for help, creating a to-do list, or establishing boundaries. We tend to use problem-focused strategies when we feel a sense of control over the situation and think we can change the circumstances or change ourselves to better deal with the circumstances. We use emotion-focused coping when we believe we can't change the situation. This is when we attempt to relieve our stress by avoiding or ignoring a stressor and attending to our emotional needs related to our stress reaction. We might do something like exercise, relax in a hot bath, give ourselves a pep talk, or meditate. However, not all problem-focused coping and emotion-focused coping strategies are healthy. For example, we might overanalyze the problem, which could lead us to overthink or ruminate, which can harm us. Or we might engage in unhealthy behaviors that distract us, like drug or alcohol use. From time to time, we might feel helpless, hopeless, and depressed after we experience a series of bad events that are beyond our personal control. So experiencing a series of uncontrollable events can create a state of learned helplessness. This is the hopelessness and passive resignation humans and other animals learn when unable to avoid repeated aversive events. For example, when people attempt to tame elephants, they do so by tying up young elephants with chains. The elephant may spend days to months trying to break free, but slowly they learn that they're not strong enough to do so. When they're tied up, they're unable to escape. They associate the feeling of resistance from the chain with a lack of being able to break it. Then, when they're older, thinner chains or even just a rope can be used to tie them up. If the elephant were to use all its strength as an adult, it could break the rope. But once it feels that first bit of resistance, it's likely to give up since it's learned there's no point in trying harder. Take a second to think about how you perceive control. Do you believe that your life is beyond your control? That getting a good job depends mainly on being in the right place at the right time? Or do you more strongly believe that you control your own fate? That being a success is a matter of hard work? One perception of self-control that we'll focus on is the internal locus of control. This is when we believe that we control our destiny. We have a say in what happens in our lives. We believe that we're in control and we can take responsibility for our actions. Another perception of self-control is an external locus of control. This is when we perceive that outside forces control our fate. So, for example, let's say that you're taking a really difficult class. After your first exam, you found out that you got a D. If you view this situation from an external locus of control perspective, then you might say something like, "Ugh, that professor isn't a very good lecturer, and they grade too harshly." But if you view the situation from an internal locus of control perspective, then you may say something like, "Ooh, that test was harder than I expected it to be. I need to change my study habits so I can be better prepared for the next exam." Study after study has found that those with an internal locus of control achieve more in school and work, acted more independently, enjoyed better health, and felt less depressed than those with an external locus of control. Our explanatory style, or how we explain why we experience certain events, affects our health. There are two main explanatory styles that you might already be familiar with. Pessimism is when we expect things to go badly. Pessimists may attribute their poor performance to a lack of ability, or situations beyond their control. Optimists, on the other hand, expect more control of their situations. They're better able to cope and have better health. Having optimism can help us feel less fatigued, enjoy better moods, and have a stronger immune system. They respond to setbacks with a hopeful attitude that they can improve. Optimists tend to try and relax when they experience stress, which can lead to lower expression levels of inflammation-producing genes. Are you feeling a bit bummed out because you identify as a pessimist? Well, I've got good news for you. Optimism can be learned. So learning to see the bright side of difficult situations and viewing your goals as achievable can be a means of practicing optimism. We can also envision positive futures. So having positive expectations can motivate eventual success. Social support, or feeling liked and encouraged by intimate friends and family, promotes happiness and health. Social support calms us, it improves our sleep, and reduces blood pressure. It can help foster stronger immune functioning. Having close relationships allows us to confide in others and share our painful feelings. The benefits of close relationships transcends culture. Close relationships predict happiness and health in both individualistic and collectivistic cultures. Those with close relationships tend to live longer than lonelier people. Loneliness predicts a reduction of lifespan, similar to that caused by smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Having a lot of acquaintances isn't enough to combat loneliness and social isolation. We need to find people who genuinely care about us. We might fulfill this need by connecting with friends, family, coworkers, members of a faith community, or in supportive romantic relationships. Although there's no substitute for human connection, we can even receive social support and connection from companion animals.